Oh boy, man, I am discombobulated today. All right, welcome back to those podcast listeners. Today we have a interesting show. Well, I say interesting because we'll see how it goes. But I think today I'm just going to talk about hypnosis and kind of the ins and outs of it and why it works. We'll talk about manifesting. I'll see if I can answer any and all questions. So today like I said, I'm a little discombobulated, so I'm going to be more mindful as I am on TikTok Live. And so I'll be more mindful of the comments. Amanda, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you as always. And please feel free to ask your questions. So I titled this "Ask a Therapist." We'll just kind of see how it goes. Um, One of the questions I get asked quite often, and I think because there's been more of a push recently for people trying to understand this manifestation or this putting it out there to the universe, the secret stuff. If you remember from years ago, like the whole secret, if I put it out there, then it'll come back to me. And so maybe I can speak to that as a practitioner of hypnotherapy. I kind of see it from a different set of lenses. Speaking of which, I got my glasses today so I can kind of look at these comments. So as we go through those people who are on TikTok Live, please feel free to ask your questions, and I'll do my best to interact and answer them to the best of my ability. So thank you guys for being here. So this question younger people are asking about manifesting. There's been a lot of talk about this recently. At least it's been coming up on social media. This concept of being able to manifest the things that you want, and I think that that is very possible. I've seen it happen in my life, but like I said, I see it from a different perspective. So the concept is that if you put it out there to the universe, to God, to a higher power, if you keep focusing on it, then that energy will come back to you. And I'm not going to deny that. I just see it from a different perspective. I don't know if that's totally accurate. I see it from a more psychological perspective, and being that if you are focusing on that thing or that item or money or relationships, or if you continue to put that suggestion into your subconscious mind, then you start to bend. And it's not the other way around, not necessarily the universe bending to give you that thing. It's you starting to do those things that are going to enable you to have that thing. And maybe it's a combination. I don't really know. Don't take what I'm saying as truth, or just take it as face value and keep an open mind. But as a hypnotherapist, I understand the mechanism of what's happening regarding suggestions. We all are suggestible, and we all go into hypnosis many times throughout the day. So let me kind of talk about that, at least for the podcast listeners. And of course, if you're in TikTok Live and you want to go back and re-listen to the things that I've talked about, or some of the questions that maybe I'll answer during this session, go to Therapy Unzipped and check it out anywhere you listen to a podcast. But hypnosis is something that is like the autopilot. It's the subconscious mind being open. All the things that you have already learned up until this point, all the dislikes, all the likes, all the ways in which you interact with the world, the way that you respond to people and to situations, that's all stored in your subconscious mind. Because if you think about your conscious mind, that's the ability to rationalize and to organize things and to compartmentalize and to take information, to decide what to do with it, to make generalizations, to delete information. And your subconscious mind, or the unconscious mind, same thing, is all the things you've already learned up until this point. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to decide whether or not those red lights on the vehicle in front of you, what they are or what I need to do. You already know they're brake lights and I need to slow down or stop. It's automatic. So a lot of our lives are dictated by our automatic subconscious processes. And this is good. This is helpful. I mean, your conscious mind is only so big and can only take in so much information. So we have to automate a lot of these things. I mean, you don't have to remind yourself to breathe or to digest food or to reflexively block your face if something's coming at you. No, we have to automate a lot of these processes, and that's what the subconscious mind is all about. What it's geared towards doing, and when we can bypass the conscious mind. Hey, Christy, good to see you. When we can bypass the conscious mind and the critical filter, then we can get into the subconscious, which isn't worried or concerned about deleting or generalizing information. It can take in these suggestions, and you are bombarded by suggestions day in and day out. Marketers understand this really well. That's why we get plagued with commercial and jingle and buy this and do this thing and wear these clothes and get the new iPhone and all these things. You keep hearing it through repetition, and then eventually you start to actually like do those things because you are probably in a hypnotic state at some point because you already know what the jingle is going to be, you already know what the ad's going to be, and so you just tune it out, you automate it, and then that suggestion goes into your subconscious mind. Anyway, so today, until I get some questions on here, let's talk about like the theory of mind. Now, with regards to hypnosis. Oh yeah, by the way, last Friday, son of a bitch, I ended up getting sick. So I was in here talking and telling stories, and my throat kept getting dry, and I was coughing and like hacking and like tearing up, and I was trying to consume enough water, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, it turns out I had some funky fresh cold thing that happened. So Merry Christmas to me. So that was my my Christmas holiday weekend. But anyway, I pulled through. I've been on the mend, and I think I'm pretty much like 96% now, 95, 96%. So there may be still some phlegm left over that I'll have to deal with, but just bear with me. So that was uncomfortable last Friday, but today should be a lot better. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. That was, and when I was editing for the podcast, I kept hearing myself, and I was like, "Damn, I sound terrible." No wonder. Like I try to pretend like I'm not getting sick, and then you probably do the same thing, and inevitably you get sick. So back to the subconscious, unconscious mind. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Amanda. Me too. I'm glad that I pulled through. It wasn't enjoyable for the holiday, but whatever. I had time off for the weekend and then for Christmas, so that was much needed to kind of rest and recover. And we had a pretty quiet holiday anyway, so it was nice. Anyway, back to the hypnosis. So the theory of mind. Your mind is like the software. Your brain is the hardware. And the mind being the software is all like the operating system of the brain. So it's got to take in all this information, decide what to do with it. And that happens in your conscious mind. And that's all the stuff we're taking in, all the stimulus. And so your conscious mind has the duty, sorry, I'm a child. It's the job of trying to determine, is this information useful to me in any way? Do I need to store it and hang on to it? Do I need to get rid of it? Do I need to make a generalization based on, survival? And then once it learns, then it stores it into the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is much larger because it's a comprehensive database of all the stuff we've learned up until this point. So at 45, I've learned this mountain of information that's stored in my automatic processes or in my unconscious mind. So it makes life a lot easier. So I don't have to think about a lot of things. I can focus on the things that I need to focus on. Anyway, so part of your mind is the conscious part of your mind, which is rationalization, deduction, analysis, deciding what to do with information. Oh yeah, comments are coming in, so let me pause. And Christy, I'm sorry, and I know it had to be rough. Why not hit on any of the things we've been talking about? Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah, please refresh and let's get into some of those things. I'm more than happy to talk about those. So like I said, answering that question about the manifesting and then hypnosis, it's the subconscious mind that we are after, that we have to attack. And that's where the power of suggestion comes in. So when you are working on manifesting more money or a better job or health and wellness or a better relationship or things like that, you are putting that out there, seemingly to the universe, but you're really putting it out there for yourself to start to adapt and to start to fall in line yourself. You're telling your subconscious mind, these are the things that I need to be doing through repetition and through suggestion. So one of the most valuable things that I wanted to share with you today, for the TikTok audience, but also for the podcast, and then we'll get into some other stuff, is this self-hypnosis technique that has done wonders for me and for the people I share it with who have practiced this. And this is giving yourself some suggestions while you're already in a naturally occurring hypnotic state. Now, you go into hypnosis whenever you're on autopilot. So that moment when you are starting to fall asleep, when you're watching TV or something, but you're not really awake, but you're not really asleep either. You're kind of in that halfway moment. You're in hypnosis. Whenever you're driving to the store, the supermarket that you've driven to thousands upon thousands of times, you're in hypnosis. You're not thinking about the drive. You just do it. It's just automatic. So whenever you're in that autopilot mode, you're in hypnosis, it's just an altered state of brain awareness. And your subconscious mind is more open, so you are privy to suggestions coming in and influences from all different directions. So let's see, any of your TikToks we've been talking about? Yeah, it's crazy because I record the TikToks like a week to 2 weeks in advance, and then I post them, and then I forget what comes up because I'm already like in the next set of videos. So if there's anything in particular that you wanted to talk about, I'd love to hear it, or anything that you're dealing with in your life that you want to get into. Well, let me continue sharing this self-hypnosis technique. Oh, yes. So when you are in the autopilot mode, you're in a naturally occurring hypnosis. And when you are about to fall asleep, you're in a naturally occurring hypnotic state. Generally, we all fall asleep around the same time. We usually have the same kind of structure to our day. So, for example, between like 11 and 11:30 is usually when we go to sleep. So I know that the half hour right before you do fall asleep, you're in a naturally occurring hypnotic state. So during that period of time, if you were to actually write down pen and paper, 3 to 5 things that you would like to have happen for you in your life, or qualities of yourself that you'd like to aspire to be, then do that at that time. This is a self-hypnosis technique. You don't have to go into some deep trance or some, like guided meditation or anything like that. You just write down 3 to 5 things that you would like to see happen in your life. And you do this every night. They might be the same 3 to 5 things every single night until you see them come to fruition. And you're giving yourself suggestions into your subconscious mind, and see if that doesn't actually work out for you. What have you got to lose? Keep a little journal or a little notebook by your bedside, and right before you fall asleep, right around that 30 minutes before you actually fall asleep, jot down 3 things that you'd like to have accomplished. I'll share 3 of the things that I had used in the past that have actually worked for me. One, and this is kind of silly, is I am an athlete. Like, I made that positive affirmation to myself. I am an athlete. I am in no way, shape, or form an athlete. However, I know that an athlete is somebody who focuses on their diet, focuses on their training or their exercise regime, who focuses on proper recovery. And by telling myself I am an athlete, I started to do those things that an athlete would do because I had considered myself to be of an athlete sort. And so I started to make healthier choices. I started to drink more water. I started to not eat, Boston cream donuts, twice a day. I started to ramp up the intensity of the training and the exercise. And I was considerate if I had sort of a tweak or an injury to kind of be mindful of that and not overdo it in certain situations. All the things that an athlete would be focusing on doing. So that was one of them. Another one that I started using when I opened up my practice was my practice is tripling. So kept writing that every single night. My practice is tripling. And so I started to actually do those things that would enable my practice to triple its numbers. So if I were seeing, at first 15 people per week, 15 people per week, it more than doubled because I was focused on talking to other agencies to try to get clients. I was talking about referrals with current clients. I was making sure that the current clients I had were happy and they were making positive changes, and that I was doing the things that they needed me to do to be a good therapist for them. And of course, marketing and emails and all that stuff. In business, I started to do those things, and my practice tripled. I mean, it's more than tripled over the years, where it's hard to even find spots to put people. There's waiting lists and the like. So that has been a wonderful thing. So I am an athlete. My practice is tripling, and I find myself. This was the third one. Having an easier time dealing with anxious thoughts. And so I kept writing that to myself because I'm someone who suffers from anxiety. So I would write that one. That was the third one. And so I started to do those things that would enable me to not suffer so deeply or so intensely from the anxious thoughts. Amazing. So if you want to call it manifesting and putting it out there to the universe and the universe bending, I like to think of it as our minds bending to accommodate that new suggestion. And through repetition, you start to see positive changes in your life. So thanks for letting me share that. Let's get into some of these comments. Christy, thanks again. I was expecting 2 days ago having a therapist that works for you. I'm sorry. I was expecting 2 days ago having a therapist that works for you. I'm sorry. I don't I don't understand that. Maybe it was a typo or something like that. It was expectations 2 days ago. I'm sorry, Christy. Anyway, maybe I can help. I don't know. I think my brain was going in so many different directions. Glasses. Wow, that looks so weird. I keep taking them off, man. Getting so old. So anyway, a hypnosis session in my practice can look like a lot of different things. For one, it can be really relaxing. So I want to debunk the myth that the therapist or the hypnotherapist or the hypnotist has any real mind control powers over you, because they don't go, oh, you are amazing, Christy. Thanks so much. Your TikTok 2 days ago on expectations. That you are incredible. Thanks so much. Now I understand. Now I understand. I'm a little slow. Sorry about that. Yes, let's get into that. So let me finish that other thought. The hypnotist or the hypnotherapist does not have any mind control powers over you. They're just facilitating you going into hypnotic state. And then if you trust them, they're offering you some positive suggestions to your subconscious mind. If they make a suggestion that you would not normally do or that you don't want to take in, you'll reject that suggestion. So they don't have any witchcraft or voodoo or magical powers over you, at least in my opinion. I don't see that to be the case. So anyway, yeah, Amanda's great. Did she say a comment or something? If I forget about that going up. So we're going to talk about expectations. And then what training as a therapist do you need to do hypnotherapy? I went to 2 different trainings for hypnosis, and they were both year-long trainings. And I did those, one with in the actual place, and then the other was virtual. And like I said, they were both year-long programs. One was geared towards clinical hypnotherapy, working with diagnoses and anxiety and depression and addictions and things like that. And the other one was just a motivational like hypnosis, like being able to help people change their lives and learning the ins and out of actually how to induce hypnosis, how to provide the space where somebody can go into that hypnotic state, and then a lot of the different scripts that you can use and then tweak. And I like to use the person's own language in that. So I end up doing 2 extra years of schooling to do that. But each state has a different requirement as to how to consider yourself to be certified, or and then of course clinically certified to provide hypnotherapy. Some states you could just go to a school and you don't even have to be a therapist, and you can just do a hypnosis, but you don't call it hypnotherapy. You just call it hypnosis. So anyway, we can talk more about that. Thanks, Amanda, for that. And thanks for reminding me, Christy, to focus on that. Is hypnotherapy covered by insurance? Sometimes it is. It just depends on your insurance coverage and how the therapist is writing it up based on diagnosis and based on the treatment that they're actually providing. But not all insurance companies cover that, so it's something you just have to check with your state and then with your actual insurance company. Thanks, Amanda. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I will never forget about either of you guys. But Blazeman, thanks for sending that. Vagina. Oh, vagina. I'm so sorry. Oh, God, that was terrible. Blazerman, but vagina. What a Freudian slip. Oh, gosh. Anyway, expectations. Yeah, I think that was about expectations in therapy. And so people come in to therapy and they already have these preconceived notions and these expectations of what the therapeutic session is going to do for them. And so I wanted to try to, at least with that TikTok, open up the conversation about that. And so this is good that we can talk about that. If you're expecting that you come into therapy and that the therapist is going to fix you, sadly, we're mistaken. I'm going to keep talking about this, but Blazeman, I want to get back to your comment. Have you ever had clients do or say strange things under hypnosis? Yeah, absolutely. It's really fascinating, especially there's a past life hypnosis session that I do, and there's some interesting things that come out. Off the top of my head, I'll kind of think about what is one of the most interesting things that somebody has said, but my mind is drawing a blank right now, but I'll get back to that. But expectations coming to therapy. If you think that the therapist is going to fix you, sadly mistaken, that's not going to happen. This is actually a process of us collaborating together and working through issues. And there's times, many times, when I'm not sure the exact right thing for the person that I'm working with to do. And so we kind of experiment. Hey, try this different technique. See how well that works for you. Engage in some of the things that other clients have found helpful, and see if that works for you. I mean, I don't magically understand your entire mind and know exactly how to fix your situation, but I want to be there, roll my sleeves up, and work as hard as you're working at trying to make these positive changes in your life. So if you come in with that expectation that we're going to work together until we deem it either not a good fit or we're not going anywhere, we're spinning our wheels, then I'm always going to hold hope that we can change together and we can continue working hard on that. So I hope that that helped. Many Lives by Many Masters. Yeah, I really enjoyed that book too. And not even saying that I think that past lives regression is for everybody. I think that's just an interesting thing. One person I think went into a past life and she was a crow or some sort of black bird, and she was kind of describing that. And I thought that was kind of interesting because usually it's a person. They're a person from a different time period, of course. But I thought that was interesting that she was a bird, and so hadn't had that happen before. Blazerman's, I am provisionally licensed therapist right now, so I find your content really good and helpful. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and please feel free to reach out. I guess you send a message if there's anything that I can do to help you along your journey, or if there's anything you'd like to see me talk about. Oftentimes there's things that I want to say, and I want to make sure that I go back into my old kind of books, and then do some future resource finding, and just so I can kind of give the best content that I can for people, because as you get older, shit starts to slide out of your mind. So so I welcome you on your journey. So is there a certain population or certain uh, intervention that you're gravitating towards, Blaze, or whatever you want to be called? I don't know, Blazerman. Gina, thanks for being here, man. And Christy, thanks again for that helpful nudge to talk about the expectations. We can get into more stuff. So I appreciate you guys being here. Please feel free to ask anything, and I'll do my best to answer it. This is the first time I've actually seen myself on. No, I take that back. I've seen myself with glasses before, but it's so strange. Christy, no problem at all. Thanks, man. So ask me anything. It doesn't have to be mental health related. So I initially started talking about hypnosis, which I come to love, but it's got kind of a bad rap. People think there's some weird voodoo, Minecraft, witchcraft, mind altering things happening, and it's not any of that. But do you have clients who ain't uncomfortable with hypnosis? Oh, are uncomfortable with hypnosis? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just mentioning that some people feel like it's not good, that's like the work of charlatans, or so we just steer away from doing that. There's other people who were interested in doing hypnosis, and then we did a session, and then they knew right after that it wasn't going to be productive for them, or it wasn't going to work, or they didn't like it. We all are suggestible, just on different levels, and so some people can quickly and instantly just go right into a deep kind of trance, and other people feel like nothing's really happening, and they're just sort of like just sitting there, just listening to me, but they still get some of the suggestions. I mean, even if you just tell a story, how somebody's telling a story and you just kind of drift off, and kind of you're there, but you're not really there. Sometimes that can be really helpful. The old sideshows, yeah. Look, clinical hypnotherapy, way different than stage hypnosis. Stage hypnosis is designed to be entertaining, and so if the hypnotist is talking to the audience, they're looking for the people who are called somnambulists, which literally means sleepwalker. These are the people who are more prone to go into hypnosis quickly, easily, just at the mere suggestion of it. The people who are highly suggestible, the people who you say, imagine you're holding a lemon and you take a bite out of it, they instantly go like this because they can taste the sourness of it just by the suggestion of it. And so the hypnotist who's doing stage would find those somnambulists and pull those up. These are the people that are more suggestible. And then they offer these suggestions while they're on stage. You speak like an alien, and you translate, and you act like a duck, and you're scared of whatever. And so they are in front of an audience, and they know it's about being entertaining, or it's about entertainment. And so they start to do these things, even if the suggestion is you're going to forget everything that happened, over the next, for the last 3 minutes. They'll abide by that. So it's real, but not the way and you think that it is. Anyway, the hypnotist isn't having these powers. These people are just more suggestible, and they are specifically picking out those people who are more suggestible. So, yeah. So yeah. Those charlatans and those like illusionists and magicians. You're getting very sleepy, and they have the pocket watch type of thing. I think that's what people consider to be hypnosis. Oh, by the way, the pocket watch thing was just to tire the eyes and to get them to close. So, I mean, I just tell people to close their eyes. Just close your eyes for me. Blazerman, are you in PP doing hypnosis? Private practice? Yeah, I'm in a private practice. Yeah, I do mostly trauma, anxiety, stress, depression, that type of work. And my interventions, the top three that, well, the top four that I utilize, EMDR, hypnosis, cognitive behavioral therapy, and then just traditional psychotherapy, which is, talking about patterns and your upbringing and things that have gone on in your entire life, things that you want to start making some positive changes that we can relate back to your early development. So yeah, man, thank you guys for being here. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Ask any questions, and this will be up also on the podcast Therapy Unzipped. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're interested in listening to hypnosis that I've done, that I've recorded, I have another podcast called Suggestible Mind, where you can find wherever you listen to podcasts as well. And there are episodes that have a certain hypnosis session on there. Maybe it's you're looking for one that's related to trauma or teeth grinding or bedwetting for younger kids, or dealing with anxiety, or there's a bunch of them on there that I've recorded over the past few years. So you can go on there and for free just listen to some of those hypnosis ones. My production quality has gotten a little bit better. So on the website there are hypnosis. There's a store that has some hypnosis recordings and guided meditation that you could check out too for a small fee. If you use the code Tommy, I think you get like a percentage off, maybe half off or something like that. That's still up there. Okay, thanks, Blazerman. What drew you to mental health? I was in the United States Marine Corps, active duty, and towards the end of that, I had some of my own challenges, and I got help. A lot of them were related to substance abuse, and so I got help for those, and I really liked the people that were of service to me. They were ex-military themselves. And I just knew when I got sober and started to make positive changes in my life that this is something that I wanted to do, that I wanted to give this gift back, that this is where I felt like my energy was going, was to get out of the service and to be a therapist. And early on in my life, when I was about 15, I had kind of romanticized the idea of being a psychiatrist. Well, it turns out that psychiatrists pretty much just do medications and they don't do actual therapy. So this is why I went the route of licensure and social work, because it's a broader field. But I wanted to give back, and I was really good at listening to other people. I don't necessarily like talking myself. This is why this podcasts and TikTok lives are so weird for me, but I like listening to people and trying to take what they're saying and give a different perspective and offer some help, maybe some guidance here. And just the space that I hold for people can be very healing. Not that it's even necessarily anything I'm doing or not doing. I think it's just me holding the space. People start to heal themselves and gain insight. So it's just a good fit, and that's why I gravitated towards that. So I got help with my own challenges, with anxiety, with substance abuse, with trauma, and PTSD, and I wanted to kind of give back and help out other people. So I don't know, maybe another term would be like the wounded healer type of thing. So that's why I'm here. And I love it. I love being of service to people, to be in this capacity. Um, it's like when you finally find what you are good at and what you're passionate about, and you can actually make a living off of it. I see that being realized, that it's not really work. When I had worked at the hospital doing therapy, that was a little bit more of a challenge because it was, corporate hospital type of system. And there were days where I was just like, shh, I'm trying to watch my language, because last time I got like age restricted or something like that. So I'm trying not to curse. Well, I was like, I didn't really want to go into the hospital to work, just because I was like, I just didn't want to deal with all the corporate crap. But being in a private practice, this is where I really belong. This is where I really feel like I finally become successful and have accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish, and I get to give back and I get to grow and improve with my ability to help people. So I'm always learning, always growing. Christy, yes, wounded healer is right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the term, right? And Amanda, he's a great therapist. If you need someone to just hold the space and listen, Amanda, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys being here and being able to allow me to be of service to you and to answer questions and to be helpful. Of course, if there's anything that I can do better, please let me know. I'm open to change and improvement. South Korea, what's up, Josh? Good to have you here. Today we were just answering questions. We were talking about hypnosis and expectations of going into therapy. And if you have any questions, please feel free. I'm here for you guys, really. So this will also be up on the podcast Therapy Unzipped. I hope you guys had a nice holiday. Feel free to comment about that. I had a nice holiday. It was quiet, but I was sick or recovering from having a cold, so that was not enjoyable. But luckily, it was the holiday, so I was not working on Monday, so I had Saturday, Sunday, Monday to kind of relax and unwind and just recover from whatever that funk was. So. I was just trying to catch up on any of those, if there's any questions that I missed. If I do miss something, and I don't see it, feel free. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. If I miss anything, please feel free to drop me a comment or comment again. Uh, find a way, and I'll definitely answer your question if I miss it. Also, you could send questions to questions@therapyunzipped.com, and that way I can get an email and I can respond to the question and then answer it on future shows. So, thanks, man. I really appreciate sending in the gift. That's really helpful. I'll keep putting out as good of content as I can. Christy writes, I'm still taking quotes from all over and writing about how they apply to my life in any way. Yeah, I really enjoy doing this. I think critical thinking is really important to be able to get information from a variety of different sources and to utilize that effectively in your life. I don't think that looking up Google and clicking on the first search and just taking that at face value is enough. I think that we need to get information to include quotes and inspiration and information from a variety of different sources. So I think that's really helpful. Subscribe to your podcast. Be well. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You have an amazing day and great rest of the year. Happy New Year. Can you believe that? Oh man, Grub Daddy, what's up? Good to see you, man. Hey man, I'm trying this TikTok live out. It's been going pretty well so far. So please feel free to send in your questions. I hope you guys had a nice holiday too. Big shout out to you and brother and dad and friends and family and the likes. Yeah, man. So hey, I'll talk more about hypnosis. Um, that thing that I shared before, I'm going to share again for those of you who had just joined. It's a self-hypnosis technique that could be instrumental at helping you craft suggestions, give yourself those suggestions through repetition, and to actually make positive changes. Hey, this is the new year, so we want to make those resolutions or positive changes or whatever you prefer. Some people don't like the different terms, but at the end of this year, of every year, we take stock of the previous year. What were the good things? What were the not so good things? What we would like to be different moving forward? and we set the intention for this new year, what we're going to do, what we're going to learn, how we're going to change, what we want to be different, and or what we want to maintain if we already like some of the changes we've made so far. And that self-hypnosis technique that I shared with you, that I'll share again, can be really helpful for doing that. So this technique is to be utilized 30 minutes before you actually fall asleep. When you're in a naturally occurring hypnotic state, you are to write down 3 to 5 things that you would like to aspire to be, or changes that you would like to have in your life. And through repetition, through giving those positive suggestions or positive affirmations to your subconscious mind, you start to actually adapt and bend to accommodate those changes. So give it a shot, please. What have you got to lose? Keep a little journal, a little notebook by your bedside, and utilize that. It can be as simple as, I am an athlete, my practice is tripling, I have an easier time dealing with anxious thoughts. Those are 3 that I had used in the past, and they worked out really well. And I started to accommodate and change my behavior and my thinking to enable those things to happen. And so it worked out really well with regards to manifesting change. I think it was me, though, that did that. I don't think it was, I don't know if I can give credence to the universe providing that. But if you believe in that and the secret and manifesting and the universe bending, then please go with that. But just do the technique. What have you got to lose? So anyway, that was a really helpful thing that I would encourage you to do. Of course, if you want to listen to any recordings that I've done, go to Suggestible Mind podcast, and there are hypnosis recordings on there that I've done that you can listen to. Also, check out Therapy Unzipped anywhere you listen to podcasts, because this show will be up there, and past shows. There's like 25 other episodes we've already done before that Brett and I have done, and we'll be doing future every week and putting them out there. So we should be on together and back next Friday, and so we'll come up with something really exciting and enjoyable to talk about. I think it's easier when you have somebody to talk to, where I don't feel like I'm just talking to my phone with all these weird bleeps and bloops things that are going on. So anyway, thank you guys for being here, and please feel free to send in your questions. Ask me whatever. Talk about whatever you want. We just happen to be talking about hypnosis and expectations, and there's something else too. I don't know. Don't get old. If there's something that you would like us to talk about or cover in the show, feel free to send me a message and let us know, because I want to gain an understanding of like the TikTok audience and what you guys are actually after. You know, it's definitely not about me. And that's how I feel with clients. It's not about me, it's about them. It's about what they need. And so I'll offer guidance and support along the way. But I want to check in with them and see what they need, what feels good, what feels right for them. I'm a collaborative type of therapist. I'm not somebody who has all the answers, and if you do what I tell you to do, then you'll unscrew your life or whatever. No, I want to be like, a teammate, so to speak, in this thing with you. So anyway, don't knock the hypnosis. There's not anything that's magical or spooky or anything to be worried about. We all go in and out of hypnosis many times throughout the day. It's nothing to be afraid of. And if you can use the power of suggestion, whether it's somebody else who's skilled and can offer you the suggestions, or you offer yourself those suggestions, you'll start to see positive changes in your life because of that, because of those suggestions. When you are in hypnosis, your conscious mind is bypassed. So that whole critical filter of trying to determine what information is and trying to analyze it and deduce and use logic and reason is totally gone when you're in your subconscious mind, when you're in hypnosis. So that's why the suggestions that go into your subconscious, unconscious mind actually like can take root. By the way, also, I mentioned it before that if you hear a suggestion that you would not normally do, like after this session, you're going to remove all your clothing and run out in the middle of the street. If you wouldn't normally do that, you're probably not going to do that. So you're going to reject that suggestion. Regardless of who the person offering the suggestion is, they don't have that mind control power over you where you suddenly would find yourself doing things that you wouldn't do. So you're not going to get stuck in hypnosis anyway. Just like when you're in hypnosis right before you go to sleep, you eventually go to sleep and then you're no longer in hypnosis. Now you're in the sleep mode. And then eventually you'll wake up and you'll be, you'll start your day and you're not in hypnosis. So you won't get stuck in the hypnosis. Although I would encourage, since the hypnosis sessions are more of the relaxing sort, not to necessarily listen while you're driving or doing things where you need to be paying attention to what you're doing. Probably better to be in a nice, comfortable place, just listening where you can carve out that time for yourself. Oh, okay. Christy, you have something. Love it. I've actually had therapists totally shoot down me wanting to do hypnosis. Yeah, there's even therapists that don't know enough about hypnosis. I mean, it's rare that you can find a therapist that practices hypnosis, let alone one that encourages it. They kind of think it's hocus pocus or whatnot. But once you do more research and actually go through training, you understand that it's not any of that. But you do what's right for you. I mean, like I said, to have a judgment call from a therapist to shoot down that idea, to say it wouldn't be helpful for you, I think is kind of abhorrent, kind of like not good. I can understand if they don't appreciate it, if they don't feel like it would be helpful for them. But I mean, trying to influence and make that judgment and for your clients to tell them that they should not do that. I mean, I don't mind making a judgment regarding like, certain types of illegal drug use, or risky behaviors. I might have a judgment and say, maybe that won't be helpful, but I oftentimes don't tell people absolutely don't do that. Even if somebody said they wanted to start using heroin, that's probably not the best idea. So we would kind of explore the ins and outs of it. Why is it that you're wanting to do that? Is it the escape? Is it, have you heard good things? Are the people around you using heroin and that's why you see the effects or the positive effects on them? Is that something that you're after? And maybe there are some other ways in which we can get that thing that you're after without utilizing heroin. Make a judgment that way. Just shooting down. Amanda, that's why I don't do hypnosis. I'm afraid to get stuck there somewhere, wherever that might be. And that's a fear that people have, is that they're going to get stuck in this deep, dark, sunken place. There was a movie out where this lady would put people into the stuck place or something, and then take their spirit and putting it in somewhere else. Oh, it was crazy. We really enjoyed the movie, but hypnosis is not that. You're not going to get stuck down deep in there. Just like when you start to doze off, you eventually come back, so you're not going to get stuck. Oh man, there was one client where we were doing hypnosis, and we are both big time Seinfeld fans. And I had mentioned it was talking about pain, and I had mentioned about putting on this special balm. And this was like deep into the session, and I had mentioned putting the balm on, and of course Seinfeld came out, and then we were just laughing, and it was the end of the hypnosis session. But that was hilarious. I remember that distinctly. I was like, I shouldn't have used the balm. Who told you to put the balm on? I didn't tell you. Jackie didn't tell you to put the balm on. Anyway, so that was pretty funny. Oh man. That was one really enjoyable hypnosis session that I had. Usually people just feel really good. They feel really relaxed during it. And it's a lot of work for me because I'm trying to craft, using their language, the suggestions that would be helpful to them. Some people are more concrete. more direct, and other people are more of an inferred type, where they gain information through the side door, where they're not always as concrete. So, plus, if somebody has a certain level of education, I probably need to stick with vocabulary that's around there. Not saying I'm better or worse or anything like that. I'm just, if somebody, like a child, if I'm doing a hypnosis regarding anxiety, I'm probably not going to be utilizing really big words where they're not going to be able to understand. I'm going to try to use their language, the things that they're talking about. And if they're talking about insecurities, I'm probably not going to use the word fears or concerns or worries. I'm going to use the word insecurity if they're saying I have this insecurity. So the more that I can craft the suggestions utilizing their language, the better, because the more apt they are to take in that suggestion. So it's a craft, and it's an art form, do the hypnosis. So it's a lot of work for me, because then I have to, and remember, I'm the one who likes to listen, but during the hypnosis session, I'm talking for 45 minutes straight, and I have to be mindful of mouth noises and enunciating, and that can be challenging, because I really have to be on, because you don't want to be in the middle of a relaxing experience for me to mispronounce a word, or for me to do something like that. So I have to be really mindful of that. So, and then just talking for 45 minutes in a really nice, soothing voice to get them into that place is a lot of work for me. So luckily, I have EMDR to balance that out. EMDR is not a lot of work for the therapist. It's just setting it up and then kind of determining the target negative experiences and the negative core beliefs, and just sort of being mindful of what's happening for the person. But then you turn on the lights and they just kind of go, and they're in their own head going through it. So it's a nice balance. So there's sessions where I do the EMDR and I don't have to work as hard, because the person is working. They're running a marathon in their mind. But I can just kind of be there and observe their body language, and then just check in every couple of sets or whatever, see what's going on. But then the hypnosis is a lot more work for me. So that's why I decided I wanted to record some generalized hypnosis sessions to have on the podcast Suggestible Mind, or even on the store. Just my production quality was getting a little bit better. And so I wanted to have those available for people. So if you haven't checked out the store on the website, please feel free to do that. And if you remember, use code Tommy. It's still up there. You can still type that in and you get like 50% off. So Christy, thank you so much. How does hypnosis work with someone who has bipolar with borderline personality disorder? Look, is regarding the disorders, if the person is at least on an outpatient setting, stable enough to come in, they can greatly benefit from that. If somebody suffers with bipolar and also BPD, I'm going to be mindful of trauma and their trauma history. And I'm going to try to uncover what kinds of things might trigger the person, and I'm going to steer away from that. So this is where clinical hypnosis really comes into play. Being mindful of what somebody is suffering from, really getting to know them. So I would want to take time, if I didn't already know them, I'd want to take time getting to know them, what their traumas are, what their triggers are, so that way I can craft the session and the suggestions and the guided imagery to be such. I mean, if somebody had a trauma where not nice things happened, you can fill in the blanks on the beach, right? And that was a triggering experience for them, and that might lead to not good things. Then I'm not going to suggest, if you find yourself on this magical beach and it's so peaceful and you can feel the sand in your toe, probably stay away from that type of imagery. So anyway, I would keep in mind that there are triggering things, possibly traumatic things that have happened to the person, and I'm going to craft the suggestions and the guided imagery to not re-traumatize the person. But somebody who suffers from bipolar or BPD or both can really get benefit from a relaxing session. I mean, somebody who is kind of up and down, regulating their emotional state is really important, especially people with BPD. They have a challenge regulating their emotional state and finding some distress tolerance. So the suggestions in hypnosis and the meditative and relaxing effects from it can be really helpful at addressing emotional regulation and distress tolerance. I do a lot of mindfulness work too, which is kind of part of DBT, which is what's utilized for borderline personality disorder, as one of like the most prized interventions. And mindfulness in hypnosis is really important, being in the present moment, feeling your body, getting in touch with your body and the furniture beneath you and your breath and focusing on the breath. So I do more like mindfulness with both those, bipolar and BPD. So I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you for your question. Thank you for you guys being here. We're going to be doing this every, Brett is a colleague, friend. We're going to be doing this together on Fridays, and we'll also have it posted on the podcast. So if there's something we didn't get to talk about or address today, we're going to keep doing it. So feel free to come back right around 10:15 or so on Fridays Eastern time. It'll probably be about an hour or so, or as long as it needs to be. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for sending in for gifts. Thanks for your questions. And I hope you guys have a really great rest of this year and a happy new year, setting those positive intentions. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. Well, take care. I'll sign out and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.